Hey there, team. So today I'm doing this is my third attempt at testing out my new mic. I'm pretty happy with it generally, but I'm just needing to find the right level of everything. And the first two times I've tried to do it, I've just had some really clear issues. So I'm just really wanting to do a quick video and just kind of get your opinion on it. The main issue I think is going to be is when I bump the music into it. And is it still clear to hear me? Should I lower the volume of my music a bit? Or can you personally, when you're listening to it, I think no matter what, you're going to have to listen to my videos a little louder than you were previously. I think that's just the only way I can really do this. But the best way that I can think to do this is just rattle through some 1v1s. I'll see quite how long this video is here. This is just an almost 8,000 frame 1v1. And we'll just get through that and see how it goes, and then we might, if it goes through really fast, I've got another 1v1 that I think I'll get through. As I mentioned before in my other tests, I'm probably going to be repeating myself a lot. I've actually been really quite lucky recently. I've not had anywhere near as many crashes as I used to. I think people are really, I've not really seen as many like brand new people kicking about recently, so I think it's coming across as like most of the people that we're seeing online now are at least semi-aware of how not to crash in Reforged. So that's been pretty good. So I've managed to rack up quite a lot of content, and I'm going to be able to use that content a lot more again, because at the end of the day, that was really what this channel was made for. Not that I absolutely adore using other people's content. Don't get me like other people's battles. Like I'm so appreciative for people sending them to me, and I'm always so appreciative of the RH clan for providing the community video dump as well. That's fantastic. But at the end of the day, what was I thinking was what this channel was put up for. It was something that I felt put me in a different setting from Scout and Umad, who make very good quality content, and I needed something to be different from them. So I wanted to really blaze my own trail, and the What Was I Thinking series was kind of how I wanted to do that. So I do want to hold on to that, even though I am, of course, branching a lot more into the more well-known way of just, you know, making some damn good battles, I think, of what the community has come up with. So playing as Rude Hour here, as I say, it's that's an issue with What Was I Thinking. You're going to see the same armies a lot, and got my Black Wolves in the back here. I've actually got 2 units of Cold Fell Maidens and a unit of Dunman Scouts. I didn't really know what this map was. I just sort of randomly jumped on a map for this 1v1. It's actually, I think it's one of the Conquest maps. I don't even think it's for that, but hey, yeah, so we're in it. And Cold Fell Maidens have been really growing on me since this patch, well, since this updated version. I've really not been, back in 0.96, I never used Cold Fell Maidens, but my idea for cavalry has changed so much recently. I really don't rely on cavalry as much, and to be honest, I genuinely think my micromanagement skills have been damaged in the past little while. I definitely think I'm a much better player, but my actual micro ability is a lot worse. So pulling off well-timed Lancer charges is just really difficult for me now, when I'm sort of micromanaging my whole army. So cavalry, like the Cold Fell Maidens, are great because I can just throw them at an enemy cavalry unit and I don't have to worry about them. So I've got my Black Wolves, those 2, some Dunman Scouts. As I say, I think I've actually given my Dunman Scouts an armor upgrade. I don't think you can see it on them, but I like to do it. Just gives them a little bit of armor so that they can survive for a minute or two. Got my Enmore Troll Hunters, only one of them today. Must be 2, surely. I've started to move around, so we'll try and catch all this. Actually, let's slow it down because my initial actions are quite important here. I've got my Witch Realm Enslavers, some Swordsmen, nice double Dunman Pike and Herenidine Pike as normal. My more Swordsmen there, some Herenidine Berserkers, got my General in with them today. Some more Rudar Swordsmen on the left flank, and that is generally that, and 2 Rudar Marksmen, of course, and even some Rudar Clansmen today as well, with an armor upgrade. So they look pretty menacing with the armor upgrade, very sort of Troll Hunter-esque. My enemy over here is Dol Amroth today by Elberthil. And he's got an Ed Hillond men-at-arm line up front with some halberdiers. some of these Terrathera marksmen, some Doran Ernal archers. No armor upgrade for them today. We've seen them with the armor upgrade a lot recently. I think it's something that everybody's wanting to do nowadays. Some more men at arms, a lot of men at arms. They're gonna have quite a lot of fun just slicing their way through my Rudar swordsmen. Some Haven Knights, definitely more than a match for my Coldfell Maidens. The Paratil Champions, some Paratil Champions again. Some Knights of the Silver Swan, civilians, 2 units of civilians, and then more Swan Knights and Knights of the Silver Swan. So even though my Coldfell Maidens can do an alright job at countering enemy cavalry, there's too much cav and far too good quality on the field today for them to face off against. My initial actions here, you're going to hear a lot of breaths. I'm afraid I went out for a pretty stirring walk today, and yeah, got a little bit worn out, I suppose. So I'm going to try and limit that, but I think this mic is definitely going to pick up a lot of breaths. We've got the pikemen down here as well. So I originally deployed down in this valley just because I believed that he would sort of be deploying there and we'd sort of battle it that way. But seeing him, he's got his whole army up there, I'm needing to rush up this passageway as quickly as I can. And I'm able to sort of yeet my way up there quite quickly. I really don't want him to sort of block me off and really turn this into quite a nasty situation. So I get my cav up there. My Dunman scouts can maybe carry off a charge if I need to. Sort of a sacrificial holding action against the enemy. But I am swift enough. I was deployed sort of close enough to this little ramp way up, and I think my reactions were pretty quick. So because I was planning, you know, if he is up there, I can just run up that ramp as quickly as I can. My enemy is coming forward with his men at arms now, though, and that's 5 units of these men at arms, and they're, you know, I'd say that's definitely one of Dol Amroth's. It's definitely where Dol Amroth kind of falls flat in comparison to a lot of the other Western kingdoms of men. I just never think that their men at arms perform very well. But still, it's heavily armoured men at arms up against Rudour, so it's pretty dicey unless I can get some good javelin volleys on them. Pulled off a half-decent charge there. It's an armour-piercing charge from those Dunman scouts. You know, very cheap unit, but very cost-effective if you can use them properly, and nice and swift, too. So we've got a nice engagement. Let's zoom on in. Look at the thickness of my line there. This is quite a narrow battlefield for the two of us, which is kind of cool. He is coming around for a flank, but I'm trying to meet that with my Rudar clansmen, who can just hold him in place for a little while these Coldfell Maidens just volley away with their javelins. I knew I wasn't going to be winning the cavalry game, so my intentions here were just to dominate the infantry game, and then hopefully focus on his cav, just get his cav zeroed in with my pikes and my Rudar clansmen. And over the front, you can see I am sort of winning. In a he's winning there, but as soon as the pikemen come into the battlefield, it does sort of turn around for me, and the Black Wolds there are great for the front line too. He is flanking around my side with these Swan Knights, but javelin fire is dealing with them. Coldfell Maidens, of course, are running away and just yeeting their javelins at these heavily armoured Swan Knights. Even though Swan Knights are Swan Knights are Lancers, I'm thinking Knights off the Silver Swan. So Swan Knights, definitely, if they caught up with them, as they have there, I'm trying to just get them on either side like this. You know, really not great units of quality are the Coldfell Maidens, but outnumbering these Swan Knights in this manner is going to wrap them up. Haven Knights, though, have pushed through, and the sacrifice of the Swan Knights is allowing the Haven Knights to really just mop up my archers, and I'm kind of needing my archers to do some damage here, so I just grab them with my Dunman scouts. Dunman scouts are, of course, going to get wrapped up, but just holding them in place for long enough for me to volley off some axes at them. Paratil Champions have come forward up against my Witch Realm Enslavers, probably the only real unit on the field that can go toe-to-toe with the Paratil Champions. But they're still going to be suffering some losses. Get my Rudar clansmen up forward now, and this impressive archer line is going to do some good work up against my lightly armoured Rudar soldiers. Especially my pikemen. That's why it's so important for me, pikemen, not to do dumb stuff like this, and for me to get my pikemen pressed up against the line. Like the Herenidane men are doing so right now. Like the Herenidane men are doing right now. But you can see that it's kind of turning against me in some places. It's balanced or even defeat in some parts. And something I've got to keep in mind are the pikemen that are making their way over. Not super quickly, he's gotten them off phalanx now and he's running them. So they're going to be making their distance a bit faster. So I do need to make sure I've got something waiting for them. Troll hunters volleying off into this line. Hopefully not really wasting their ammunition on those civilians, of course. But you see where the pikemen of his, well, now that his pikemen and his halberdiers have come into effect, my infantry line is really starting to struggle. And what I thought was going to be my strongest, you know, asset is now disappearing. And I've had to pull my archers back and just try to get some fuller volleys off. And it really has become, instead of dealing with his infantry first, then his cavalry, it has now become dealing with his cavalry, and then hopefully his infantry. I've just passed my half of our force point there, which is definitely a concern for me. General is still on the field, a lot of horsemen dead. It looks like, as you can see, the Coldfell Maidens were doing quite well up against those Swan Knights. But the Swan Knights skill did, once they were sort of organised enough, the Swan Knights definitely did mop the floor with them. It's the issue with the Coldfell Maidens. Up against general cavalry, they are going to be performing very well. But up against a unit of superior quality, they're just going to be disappearing. Like, they just cannot even attempt to fight the Swan Knights or you know, Lord forbid, the Haven Knights. So I'm just trying to protect my archers here because I think that they're really going to be quite beneficial for me. I'm quite surprised at this engagement here. These men-at-arms are battling away with my marksmen and kind of winning. But I think I'm getting some side shots, even though their shields are coming into play there. It's still helping me out. My enslavers there, along with my Hereditary Berserkers, the two best quality units that I've got, are pretty much surrounded by these Dol Amroth men. And the pikemen have launched up now too, so I'm just grabbing them with my troll hunters. I want to launch into an attack before they get formed up. They've been running their way up here, they're a bit tired, but they are starting to close that phalanx. And as soon as they properly close the phalanx, my troll hunters will disappear. So the aim here is just hold the troll hunters in melee for a while with them, and, you know, volley fire them from the back with my Rudar marksmen. There's no armor upgrade on those Doran Ernal pikes, so they'll disappear quite quick. The finishing blow, though, should come with these Herenidane pikes, who are just going to be vastly superior to them in melee. Which is quite an unusual thing for me to say as Rudour, up against the Western Kingdom's man. But we do have some units that can more than go toe-to-toe with them. I've got my Dunman pikes there, battling alongside my swordsmen, a nice little combo, which we are having some success with. The Peritol champions are very good quality, but our pikes are doing good work. Marksmen of his having to launch themselves in now. I've not really been pestering his archers, so they've been able to use up all of their ammo. But he's getting an envelope. Well, he's enveloping my line on the right flank. Getting my freed up troll hunters coming in now. Out of ammunition, just really needing to launch them into the flank. But still, I've got this really elite blob. This is not what I like to do. This is just because of the way that the battle's progressed. I really like to spread my elite units out across the front line. But here I've had just this blob of enslavers and Herenidane Berserkers together. And the issue with that is I also leave my elite units open to a cavalry charge. The Haven Knights may not have a great charge bonus, but they're still knights at the end of the day. I catch them with my Troll Hunters. Troll Hunters are not bad. Well, they're pretty damn good against Cav. That's what I mainly take them for. Throw off their javelins against them and then stab away at them. Some of these men turning around the wrong way, unfortunately, need to be given another attack order in order to get this sorted out, but we are winning that engagement all the same. Haven Knights coming in for a sort of attempt at a charge here. It actually went quite well for them, to be honest, but they need to get the hell out of there before my pikes sort of, start prodding them. I don't really want to give them an attack order to go and attack those knights, of course, because that'll mean they're turning their back to the enemy pikemen. So my elites, although, as I say, I don't like doing this, my elites are chopping through these men. And slowly but surely, the front line is turning in my favour. Sort of his lack of pikes on this line is working out for me. And because I've got 2 units here, I can do this. I can turn my pikes around to chase away his cavalry while the swordsmen watch their backs. And then, of course, as quickly as I can, get my ass back in. What do we have here? Some troll hunters engaging these men-at-arms. Nicely armoured, those troll hunters. Herndon Berserkers, yeah, so this is great. This is, I think if he had been doing this earlier, this would have been very scary for me. So he's dropped my general, which Rudar morale is pretty good for an evil men faction, but they're still just evil men at the end of the day. So he's just slingshotting back and forth, but every time he does it, because I've just got so many anti-cavalry tricks, you know, I've got lots of troll hunters dotted around, still lots of pikes on the field. Every time he comes into somewhere, he'll lose at least 1 or, you know, 2 cavaliers. Focusing fire on them with my archers now too. What's left of my archers? Actually, sorry, I think those are the javelins. I think he's going to spark a rout here. These men are wavering. Ah, good, no, but that's the admit defeat from him. So it was a good little fight there, and we actually have another 1v1, which I'm going to watch this video to see how that all came out, and if it was okay, I will plug the next video onto the end of this. So there'll be 2 1v1s today, hopefully. If there's not, it means I wasn't too happy with this recording, and I'll just post it up and keep working some stuff out, because it's been a good few days since I posted. My old mic died, so I really wanted to grab this new one, and then got this new one, and it's kind of, I'm needing to do a lot of tweaking with it. So I was really, it was naive of me, but I was really hoping to just bust this one out of the box and get to recording right away. But there's been quite a lot of huffle and puffle. As you see, my Herndon Berserkers definitely did not fare too well up against those charges. They were definitely a focus of his. They got a good few kills from those with those axe volleys, but no, I'm impressed with their display, you know, all things considered. We didn't really catch all of the charges that they were put under, and as well that ending charge definitely killed quite a few of them. That was definitely a good move. The Enslavers fared a lot better. Their AP will do incredibly well up against a unit like an army like Dol Amroth, whose infantry are really not super impressive and kind of are relying on their armor. Even Gondor, I find that Gondor's infantry, even lightly armored or up against AP armies, Gondor infantry can kind of hold the line, whereas you hit Dol Amroth with a lot of AP, they're going to fall away. And my triple Rudar swordsman, again, this is from a little while ago. It's not from too long ago, but a little bit ago. And it was before I had kind of seen the glory of the Rudar axemen. So that's why I don't have any. But my Rudar swordsmen there, to be honest, they were a pretty decent choice. Even in spite of the enemy's armor, they kind of held the line nicely. They've got some big old shields, and it went pretty well for them. Whereas a Rudar axeman, although he would have probably done more damage quicker, that wasn't really what was winning me that battle. You know, I was winning that battle just by that slow, just trudge, stab type strategy. Very, very technical term. 2 of my Dunman pikes there, racking up quite handsome kills, but it's the Herenidine pikes that held true. To be honest, I think if that unit of pikemen that he sent around the side, had that been plugged onto his main army, I think that would have gone a very different way, because we saw on the right flank, where he had his halberdiers and his pikemen, I was getting eviscerated for quite a while until I managed to sort of volley fire those pikemen into oblivion. My Black Wolves did actually not super well. I think the Black Wolves probably got targeted by arrow fire. As you can actually know, only one of them came back there from arrow fire. So maybe it was just the defensive skill of the Dol Amroth men that was dropping them like flies. But the AP was beneficial. My double Rudar clansmen, they were just chasing around Cav for a while and really just being a meat shield, just to hold the enemy in place while my more skilled units were doing other things. My double Troll Hunters, solid choice, I think. One of them was really punished by charges, but at the end of the day, they're spearmen. That's kind of their purpose, in melee anyway. And good javelin fire throughout, I think. Rudar Marksman there, that's about the amount of kills I'm expecting to get from my Rudar Marksman in a field battle, so I'm content with it. You know, my Rudar Marksmen are there kind of to hold people's focus, hopefully hold enemies' range fire as well. And so when they suffer those sorts of casualties and don't really rack up too many kills, as you see, this one took, he healed 58 men, so most of those losses were taken to range fire. Actually, looking through it, I healed so many casualties, like a lot of my men were killed by range units. He definitely had a good spread. The Kofel Maidens did pretty well for themselves, to be honest, considering the the quality disparity that they were up against there. But a lot of their javelins went into Edhill and Men at Arms, which I know you might think that that's a bit wasteful, and I get that. I do get it. But I was pretty panicked, and I just wanted to kind of shut down it. That was still when I was planning to shut down its infantry, so that's why I was generally doing that. And then my Dunman Scouts pulled off one good charge, but you can kind of see where my micro is failing now. Like, I just don't really have the ability to muck about with Cav in the same way as I used to. And it's, yeah, like, so I was... But that as well, that map was not super great for Cav, but I really should have tried to do something. Just had him mucking about up against the enemy archers, for say. But I was just kind of wasteful with him. But no, that was a really fun little battle. Had to jump in real quick, and it was close as heck, really. I think, because of course I've got a lot of men remaining, but he admitted defeat, and he didn't have to do that. You know, he could have racked up quite a few more kills. But yeah, that's fair. In a 1v1, you never really, like, 1v1s never really seem to go to the last man. So yeah, I'll if there's another battle right now, then it means I'm content with the recording. Hey there, team. So this is the second 1v1 that I had up against Ilbrethil. Yeah. So we did this one immediately after the last battle. And I decided to grab Gondor. Now this was just when I was starting my, I guess, urge to try and nail Gondor as a faction and try and really get to grips with them. And I have changed my strategy, I've changed my loadout massively since then, but you can generally see it developing. I've got these 2 units of Gondor Cav. I don't really take any cavalry now when I play Gondor. I just don't, I only really took the Gondor Cav, as I say, to counter enemy Cav, and I really just don't feel that they're good enough at it to justify taking them. Like, this is them both with a melee upgrade and 2 levels of armor upgrade. And I'm not saying I think that I don't think the faction should be tweaked in any way. I'm just saying Gondor has much better ways to counter Cav than taking your own Cav. So I just don't really do it anymore. But grab 2 units off them here. So pretty big investment, really. Got my Athelian Rangers. I won't take these guys all the time, but sometimes I'll grab them. Then some Nimlothian Honor Guard. I think I've got my general with him today. Yep, I'm still on that right now. Then these 2 units of, a unit of Ravenhelms, and then a fully beefed up unit of these Axemen of Losanak. Along the main line, we have Gondor infantry. As I say, I like men-at-arms, and one of the main things I like about Gondor is your men-at-arms can really do some good work, you know. So I like to beef them out like that. And then in front of them, I've got 2 units of Fountain Guard. No guards of Osgiliath today, just the Fountain Guard. Some marksmen of Caer Andros there, and then in front of them, 2 units of Gondor Spearmen. Again, fully armor upgrades for them today. Then the Gondor Archers here. I don't know, I always just for some reason think that the just 1 level of armor upgrade makes them look like, you know, they're more Chad than the full plate. I think it's probably just the massive pauldrons just looks more powerful than the full plate with the same size pauldrons. So, and then I've got 2 units of Gondor Archers there. So the aim here really just being to outlast the enemy's archers with these nice heavily armoured archers, and actually do the killing with my marksmen of Caer Andros. With, of course, Gondor Spearmen to protect everyone. Now, this is what I'm really talking about when I say Gondor has much better alternatives to countering enemy Cav. Your Spearmen are some of the best in the dang game, and they're some of the most cost effective in the game too. So, you know, I really prefer to just grab an extra unit of Gondor Spearmen and just do what I call my, like, floating spears, which is just, like, have them behind your army and just follow around enemy Cav. You know, it doesn't matter if they can't get a charge off, like, they can run circles around you all day. Playing up against Cardolan here, which is interesting, you know, because Cardolan is, as I always say, Cardolan is my best faction, I think. So it's always fun to see how other people play them, and it's good to learn how to counter a faction that you love. So he's got the Tharbad Riders here. I still take them in my army, even despite, you know, me kind of falling out of love with Lancers. We've got the Menheriath Spears along this line. Then some more Menheriath Spears. Menheriath Men-at-Arms. Can definitely go toe-to-toe with my my Gondor infantry. But big concern here is this Gatekeeper line. Got the armor piercing to crack me easily. The Greenway Garrison Footmen up front with some Greenway Garrison Archers and some Gwaithlo Trackers. So when I saw the amount of archers that he's brought today, he can definitely... My original plan of just outlasting him is in the toilet, I'm afraid. And he's got his Hearthguard, and that's where he's put his general today, which, solid choice, I think. On his left flank, men-at-arms and Minheriath spears. More Minheriath men-at-arms behind him. And some Dunedain captains without an armor upgrade today. Then mercenary crossbows. I never really take them. Maybe I should. And then, oh wow, that guy's got a fancy looking crossbow. I've never really looked at their crossbows. Is that how they're meant to look? Or have I goofed something up in the files? Oh well, they're nice and colourful, those boys. And then over here, some more mercenary crossbowmen. So of course I spot that and I'm dreading it, because the mercenary crossbows are really going to be a great counter to my poor old Gondor Cav. But as I mentioned, Gondor Cav ain't how I'm winning this battle. So if I lose him, I lose him. So we'll go up to 1 speed there, and I'm coming forward here. I always like to lurch forward right at the start. It's generally what I do, unless I'm playing up against someone like Mordor or Orcs of the Misty Mountains, or Angmar, where I really believe they're going to lurch at me. I will always do this kind of throwing myself forward. It can knock a lot of people off. It can really sort of mess a lot of people's concentration up if you just suddenly go on the offensive when they kind of they expected to have a nice little skirmish engagement. Now, of course, I'm not actually going to be rushing them, but it's just interesting to put people through that and see how they react. So I'm opening fire right now, and he's returning it with his gatekeepers, and now he's using his gatekeeper fire on my Gondor archers. Now my Gondor archers are going to be dropping like flies to gatekeeper fire. Even with that armor upgrade, they don't care. So they do look nice actually with those longbows. But at the end of the day, I'd much prefer they're just rattling shots in my Gondor archers rather than against my main line. And also, this nicely unshielded, poorly armored garrison footman line is a great target for my archers. Now, I was really disappointed with myself that I kind of let him get as close as he did with that charge, but I got my Gondor spearmen up there, and you can see my spearmen did drop like flies there. But we've returned the favour, and we've knocked out a few of those Tharbad riders, and they're already wavering. That's one of my big issues with Tharbad riders. I love them, but they can rout real easy. Now he's coming through here with his mercenary crossbows, and I really should have, at this point, turned around, which I have done. Good. I started rattling off shots into them. This is really how I want to deal with mercenary crossbows. I don't want to march at him with my Gondor Cav. But he's not really in this to take on my Cav. He's in this to try and like rattle shots into my elite units, which you can do with your crossbows. So I actually get my Athelian Rangers here. He spotted them. I kind of wanted to have them sitting there as a wild card for the end game, but he spotted them now, so I get up and I just want to rattle a nice quick volley through these crossbowmen. Nimlothian Honor Guard, at the end of the day, they are spearmen, and I'd much prefer they're taking this crossbow fire to the front rather than to the back. Gondorian Cav there. I think I maybe even went... No, I tried to chase off the Tharbad Riders, who have made it out alive. But the Tharbad Riders, as armoured up as they are, you know, they can be quite squishy. For their price, they are very squishy. And you see, I'm taking them out with just arrow fire here. You know, they can go down. My Gondor Cav have taken a bit of a beating from their crossbows, but while I've still got my Marksmen of Kerandros ready, and also my Athelian Rangers if I have to, he just can't really advance on me. So I'm happy enough for this little engagement to continue for a while. I've been actively avoiding shooting his gatekeepers, because I want his gatekeepers to use up their ammo. You know, the larger that unit is, the faster they'll use up the unit's supply of ammo. So I'm not wanting to target them, I'm wanting to keep targeting them. And obviously he's advancing forward in order to get a shot onto my more important men like the Fountain Guard. One good clean volley right to the front of the Fountain Guard from a unit like the Gatekeepers would be devastating for me. So this really is a strength of Cardlin. And you can see even, you know, I've taken a lot of losses to my archers, and in response to that, even with like good clean shots right to the front of this pikeline, I've not actually inflicted that many casualties. You're seeing a lot of men dropping here and there, but not enough. And of course he's been responding as well with his Garrison Greenway Archers, a unit I never really use. I love the look of them. This is one of the... I think Cardlin is my favourite looking faction. and I think it always has been, ever since 9.6 as well. I loved their aesthetic in 9.6, and I was really scared that they were going to lose the aesthetic that I loved so much about them. But because I knew that they were a massive focus in this new version, but they've held it, and it still does look great. Gondor Cav, as heavily armored as they are, lack a shield, so you know, concentrated archer fire like this can do some good damage to them. I pull off a half decent charge there, as the Gondor Cav have a charge of 10, so they can be used for charging away like this, but it just doesn't really work out against a really beefy unit like the Gatekeepers, and I really should have spread them out to get more of a coverage. And when I was compact like that, he was just able to rattle off some really good shots and took me out. Get my Gondor archers forward. As I say, it's just, at this point, I'm just trying to get them to use up more ammo. That's all. Keeping my Gondor Cav just as a final response if he does decide to just get a little bit too close and my archers are not really killing him fast enough. I'll just throw my Gondor Cav at him. Gondor infantry coming forward now. I think I'm basically just wanting to... I'm wanting to use the Gondor infantry's shield and armor rather than hitting the Raven Helms or the Axemen of Losanak. So I'm responding to this, just trying to chase him away. You know, and at the end of the day, you know, this is kind of the purpose of the Gondor Cav. If the Gondor Cav go down using up ammunition from these mercenary crossbowmen, that's what they're there for, as cruel as that sounds. Let's go up to 1 speed again, because this was a pretty slow battle. We're at 18,000, well sorry, no, we're at 11,000 frames, almost 12,000 frames, which is quite long for a little 1v1, especially on a map like the Dry Lake Bed. I think I am moving the camera around too much. That is something that I've definitely tried to stop, and I think I've gotten a lot better at stopping it, but I think I'm just focusing so much on like my new mic that I'm kind of forgetting some of the basics. So I'll try and cam it with the movement for a little bit. Let's zoom over here though, and I think I've managed to sort of catch up to him. But you can see, even though I've caught up to him with so few cav that it's not really worth it. So yeah, as I say, nowadays just no cavalry for me when it comes to Gondor. I much prefer to spend my money on other things. But if he's using up his crossbow fire on my Gondor Cav, it's okay. I'd prefer he does that rather than on my elite infantry. So just trying to chase him away. Lacking that shield, I really think, is the thing that makes the Gondor Cav kind of really struggle in this sort of circumstance when they're getting shot at by a much more nimble unit of Cav. I don't really know what it would take for me to use Gondor Cav again. But while his crossbows are busy, and while he's busy micromanaging his crossbows, because it's more difficult for him to escape me than it is for me to chase him. I just have to give the chase order every now and again. So he's focusing back there. I'm rushing forward with everything I've got. Just trying to avoid my Fountain Guard taking too much fire. But everything is forward right now. And Fountain Guard, even though it's halberds versus pikes, I was pretty content that my Fountain Guard have the ability to beat back some garrison footmen like this. And backed up by a lot of Gondorian infantry and spearmen that if I really have to, I can breach that line. But what I'm aiming to do with my spearmen here is have them be floating behind my line to support me. The general is the first in the front, as it should be. And also the Nimlothian Honor Guard are just too good for this unit to deal with. That's really the only unit of supreme elite quality that he's got are these Dunedain captains, and they need to be getting in here now. Tharbad Riders are coming around. They'll be able to find an opportunity. I will definitely leave a gap. Raven Helms over here, they're without any spear cover. So if they wanted to slam into the back of that could be curtains. Raven Helms, far better quality than the Minheriath Men-at-Arms. And also the Minheriath Men-at-Arms, they're lacking a morale buffing unit nearby. The Hearthguard, I think, are close enough actually, but still they might be failing. I do like to have a unit like the Dunedain captains or the Tharbad Warhammers nearby all of my infantry. Fountain Guard be getting backed up by the Nimlothian Honor Guard, which is incredibly powerful. Two very good quality units, just chewing through the center line there. Let's just have a look at that. So you can see, oh, that's a nice box I've created. Yeah, we've got what looks like sort of 4 distinct clashes onto his front line. Whereas then over here, there's a nice flank around with the Tharbad Warhammers assisting and some Minheriath spears. But my Gondor spearmen kind of clashing up against his spearmen. Outnumbered, taking a bit of a beating from archer fire, but the Gondor spearmen will still give a decent accounting of themselves. Marksmen of Caer Andros, they've taken a bit of a beating from archer fire too. But he's going to be coming around the flank with these Dunedain captains, and I don't really have anything to counter that with. If he comes all the way around and slams into the back of this position, although I'm really doing some good work on that front line, it'll be a big trouble for me. So the Marksmen of Caer Andros, they can take out their big old swords and hold them back for a minute, but it's still not going to be great. I've got my Athelian Rangers moved up here, and poor Soft Boys have really taken a bit of a beating from archer fire, and also actually from some charges. He's used his mercenary crossbowmen quite well to target them. Actually, no, it must have been these spearmen that a few of them managed to break on through. So I'm wanting to get them around to the flank, but I'm not really being proactive enough to do that right now. And his crossbowmen are coming forward for a charge, which is definitely the best thing to do in this circumstance. You want to shut down my rangers, and also my rangers will die pretty quickly to a charge like that. You know, that's 3 men knocked down. Certainly not dead, but knocked down. And they're dropping like flies there. So that was definitely a well-timed charge. Marksman of Caer Andros trying to grab alongside the Axemen of Sanak, just trying to surround this unit of Minheriath spears, get them broken, and get them swallowed up. Gwaithlo Trekkers out of ammunition. He's got a good surround on my Ravenhelms. My Ravenhelms have some good morale, and they've also got that Swordmaster skill, so they'll be able to sort of stand there and just parry away these blows, while if I'm breaking through in the centre with my Nimlothian Honor Guard and my Fountain Guard. So the main purpose of these Ravenhelms is just parry, boys. That's all you have to do. If you get a few kills, that's a bonus. But your job is to parry. I've got my Gondor Spears just trying to, as I say, float around, chase them. They're going to outpace me, is the issue. And as I say, the Dunedain captains have clashed in with my Marksmen of Caer Andros. And they're having some good success there. That's me down to the only half our force remains point. Coming in for a backstab here, this is definitely a pretty smart move from him. If these were a unit like the Minheriath, the Tharbad Riders would have been absolutely terrifying, but the mercenary crossbows can still do some good work. I've got a Fountain Guard man there who's knocking them out left and right, and even the Gondor infantry, to be honest, can do some good work. Right now it's just a case of feeding the Dunedain captains, just sending mid-tier unit after mid-tier unit at them, just to hold them for a while we win the main line. Because a Dunedain captain unit coming into the back there could be curtains, as I say. I have pushed through now and engaged the Hearthguard. The Hearthguard are an elite unit. There are 2 hit points, but they're not quite capable of dealing with the Fountain Guard like this. Relying on their armor quite a bit, and also lacking any armor piercing of their own. Athelian Rangers here, I've got them pressed up right next to the stakes, really just trying to tease out, like, hey, come at me, from his cav, but he's going to come at me with some Gwaithlo Trackers. Now, although man for man, my Athelian Rangers would definitely win that engagement, it certainly isn't man versus man. So we're outnumbered about 3 to 1, and they've also gotten a charge off on us. So this is going to be quite a struggle. Mainline engagement here, actually starting to struggle. They're wavering right now. This surprises me. I guess it's just the pikeman line. They don't really have a phalanx of their own in this section, so they are struggling. And as good as the Ravenhelms are, they are starting to be beaten back by these men-at-arms. Some marksmen have come around the side. The axemen are free. This little situation has been dealt with. Gwaithlo Trackers came in to hold us back for a little bit longer, but we've broken them now too. So I got the axemen to come into the flank there, and I'm getting the marksmen come in here. But these men have already broken, so that's just unnecessary. What I really should have done was had the patience to get the axemen around for a proper backstab instead of coming into the flank like that. Fountain Guard there, clattering away against the Hearthguard. Slowly but surely dealing with them. Minotaur Roman Guardians having a lot of trouble up against the Fountain Guard again. As I say, the Fountain Guard are Gondor's powerhouse. nice. As much as I like all of Gondor, the Fountain Guard are what make it for me. And they really are what make Gondor win battles, I think. And if you lose your Fountain Guard in an unfortunate manner, or you don't use them properly throughout the battle, then you've lost. That's all there is to it for Gondor, I think. I will try to make a Gondor force without really relying on the Fountain Guard, because I always like to do that sort of thing, but it wouldn't be easy. We've got a clash here by the Dunedain captains. They're gonna be cutting down their less pure Dunedain sons from the south. But with the Fountain Guard moving forward, that should be it over. He's got some spearmen over here to lock down my Nimlothian Honor Guard, who are coming around for a flank into his Dunedain captains. It'll only be a matter of time, though. Those Nimlothian Honor Guard will not be held back. Gwathlo trackers here. Let's see. Just again, it's the Fountain Guard. Everywhere else, I'm just holding. It's the Fountain Guard that are entering fights and shutting it down. You know, this position, there's no Fountain Guard here, and I've actually been losing here. But I think just having one unit of Fountain Guard would be winning this for me. Whereas, as I say, it's just wherever the Fountain Guard are, I am having victory. So of course you reach the raid limit after 2 Fountain Guard, and I think that's definitely very fair. I imagine like 3 Fountain Guard would be way too much for a field battle. But I will maybe dabble going into the raid limit by 1, just to get another unit of Fountain Guard. Definitely in a siege scenario, I could see that being a siege defense, or maybe even offense. I could see that being a sound strategy. Yep, and even the Gondor infantry would have held the Dunedain captains in place for a little while, but they just wouldn't have won that. Nimlothian Honor Guard, their AP is definitely winning them this, but they're also very skilled and with 2 hit points, so
victory will be ours.
So that's us very close to victory. Yeah, playing Gondor, well, looking at Gondorian units here is quite nice because I've been playing a lot of the Last Alliance Total War recently. I'm going to be mentioning that a lot because I'm pretty into it. Shogun 2 was most certainly one of my favorite games to play, online. I think Medieval was always one of my favorite ones to play campaign though. So Medieval 2's multiplayer has of course grown on me, and I think Reforged, I've said it before and I definitely still agree with it, Reforged is the most fun I've ever had in an online Total War experience. It's definitely the most sort of enjoyable and competitive mixed in this, well, as I say, in this perfect mixture. And so, sorry, I've lost train of thought, but I still very much want to see what we can do with the Shogun engine, and see what sort of mod can come from that. Hopefully we will get something pretty damn beautiful. But well, right now we definitely have something quite beautiful. As I say, with my Fountain Guard here, I'm just sort of I love the Númenórean-esque armor types and everything, and they really do capture that quite well in that mod as well, with the sort of the winged helmets of the elite units. So we are having some good success here. Again, Fountain Guard. This position was broken for me, but it was just the Fountain Guard coming in here. Where did his last few Cavaliers go? His last few Cavaliers actually were used to wipe out what was left of my Rangers. They somehow managed to win that battle up against the Gwathlo trackers. Oh, this poor dude running off the field. They somehow managed to win the battle against the Gwathlo trackers, but they were grabbed by that unit of mercenary cav because they were just edged a little bit too far out of their stake defensive line. Nimlothian Honor Guard, they're really doing some good work for me, and yeah, you can see the 2 Fountain Guard and the Nimlothian Honor Guard really racking up some nice kills. Saying that though, the Axemen of Lossarnac did very well. I think it's just up against a Western Kingdom of Man, especially a heavily armored faction like Cardlin, coming and cracking with those heavy axes is what's beneficial. And since they've got great armor of their own, up against, unless you have like Tharbad Warhammers, Cardlin, or of course crossbow fire, that's how Cardlin does their anti-armor. Like crossbows, the Warhammers, Mercenary Guildsmen now as well. Actually, I never use Mercenary Guildsmen. Maybe I should actually start thinking about that when I'm fighting Western Kingdom of Men. But I think that definitely held true for them. As I mentioned before, you can't really judge kills alone as how well a unit did, because those Ravenhelms were holding up out against 3 good quality units for a very long time, and they had, you know, you've got to have an incredible defensive skill to do that, and great armor as well. So that's what got them through it. These 2 Gondorian spearmen racked up, you know, like they did their purpose. Really nasty charge there at the start. Like I grabbed it with my Gondorian spearmen, but I lost a lot of people to that initial charge from the Tharbad riders. So that was a bit unfortunate. Made them pay for it, certainly, but it hurt. And my 3 Gondor infantry, that middle one really racking up some good kills, but the unit on the left just kind of surrounded and getting prodded at by the phalanx formation. Maybe I should have grabbed them and kind of like tried to shove them through it. You know, they don't have a shield wall ability, but I'm just talking like trying to really ram in and close that distance, make it a bit more chaotic. That could have really helped. Gondor archers there, 9 and 11. That's just absolutely what you expect from the amount of firepower they went under. You know, it was unfortunate. I'd have loved to have seen them get more kills than that, but they did their purpose. Their purpose was to use up the enemy's ammunition. They did that really well. Then the Marksman Kirandros coming out with some better kills, really being good to like thin the ranks of those mercenary crossbows in the early game. But the main goal for my Gondor army is melee. You know, my archers are just there to pick away at you and make you shoot them, or really grab lightly armored units. Athelian Rangers, they're actually really quite well. I don't usually use Rangers in field battles. It's quite rare for me to do that, but I just thought I want to try something different, because I knew as soon as he picked Cardlin, I knew that there was a chance he was going to do the militia line, which is the Greenway Footmen and then Greenway Spears, and just you know, have them mixed up together, which is very effective and very cost effective too. But it's if I just got some Rangers just raking my way down the line, that was how I wanted to deal with that. But he didn't actually do that. He didn't. He had a good mixture. He actually made it quite similar to how I would make Cardlin, to be honest, with a lot more archers he'd had, to be honest. And then you can see, unfortunately, my kills from the Gondor Cav. I think the mercenary crossbows are just a great counter to them. Had I been able to get toe to toe with the Tharbad riders, that would have been fantastic. But I just wasn't able to do that because he was pretty damn good with those mercenary crossbows. So again, you know, he could have killed a few more, but you know, no need to keep it sort of dragged on. I think it's nice to have another elite unit, especially when you're up against a real army of quality like Gondor. Your Cardlin forces are just gonna need that kick, that really punching power. And to be honest, I would say the Wardens of Tir and Gorthad, had I tried to push through the center the way I did, but the Wardens were right there staring me in the face, because I would have taken that challenge. You know, I was gonna power through the center with my generals. So getting through the Wardens could have maybe been a real pain in the ass, and that could have maybe stopped me in my tracks. Because wherever Elbrethil was able to get me just my infantry clattering off his pike line, it was not going well. So. But yeah, so that's the last of our little 1v1s. I had a quick listen before, and it sounded okay. I'm gonna merge these two into one video, and hopefully it'll all come out nice. But let me know what you think. Do you think that, you know, do I really need to try? Because I'm sure I can find a way to just boost my volume up more, or I can personally just speak louder. That's something that I can definitely do. But no. So let me know if that's an issue. Do you think the music should be quieter? Do you think that the battle sound should be quieter, or is it all pretty dandy? Yeah, like that's what these two battles are not really the type of thing I would normally put up. But I really just wanted to put out some videos, because I tried, as I say, my first 2 test recordings were both much longer battles, sort of about 30,000 frame battles, and So of course, when you finish that and then you go listen to the recording and it's not good, it's just like crumbs. So I wanted to do a shorter battle, and 1v1s are a lot of fun. I like doing them, and they make good sort of snappy little battles. But yeah, apart from that, thank you very much.